Hey, folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Tuesday, December 31st. A very happy new year ahead of time to all of you. We'll be celebrating New Year's Eve with a long shift on the south side as the Pittsburgh Steelers will be having their usual Wednesday practice on Tuesday as they get ready for a Saturday game. And I still don't know what day of the week it is most of the time as they continue this mixed up schedule through the month of December. But perfectly normal amount of rest for the Steelers, who haven't played since Christmas Day, and they will be back on the practice fields at the Rooney Sports Complex today. I'll be there with some practice video, maybe some locker room video, Aaron Becker along for the ride, and then I'll be back here for Steelers Afternoon Drive with Zachary Smith, I believe a little bit earlier than normal today. So we'll let you guys get to your New Year's celebrations and or watching Penn State if that's your thing. I want to talk about something that I don't think I've brought up on this show all season and has been a surprising weakness for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, and that's the play of kickoff returner Cordarrelle Patterson. I actually was looking into some numbers yesterday, and I came across this. There have been 32 players with at least 10 kickoff returns in the NFL this season, and of those 32 players, Cordarrelle Patterson has the worst yards per return at 21.8. Second worst is Chris Collier, who's been cut already and has played for two teams. He had 22.4. Third worst is Jermaine Jackson of the New Orleans Saints with 23.4. And then Parker Washington of the Jacksonville Jaguars. No, he didn't have 10. Wait. Jermichael Hasty, sorry, of the New England Patriots at 23.8. Jaylen Warren has 7 kick returns for 24.3 yards, which is still not great. The best kick returner in the league with more than 10 kickoff returns is Emir Smith-Marset of the New York Giants. He has 11 kick returns and averaging 34.6. Kevontae Turpin, who's probably the guy who's going to get to the Pro Bowl, has 26 of them for 33.6. So he's been taking them out of the end zone, I think. Look, I think the Steelers made a intelligent move in deciding to add Cordarrelle Patterson to their team the day that the NFL instituted the new kickoff return rules. But I think they have to take a long look in the mirror about what's happened this season and make a decision about what's going to happen next season. I mean, it could just be that the Steelers have not mastered the blocking schemes that and ways that other teams have. This is new to everyone. I assume some teams are going to be ahead of the curve and some teams are going to be behind it, and that is just natural. But I don't see a lot of burst from Patterson when he's back there. He is signed to a 2-year contract, so he is, scheduled to be back next season. But I think the Steelers have to find a way to improve that number, whether that's moving on from Patterson, who is 32 years old, or finding a way to change the strategy, improve the blocking, something. This, the way it is, just can't continue. They have been seriously hampered by their average starting field position because of that kickoff disparity, despite the fact that the Steelers have one of their best defenses. And so, that's where I see they have to, their offense is designed to play the field position game. They can't start badly in average starting field position and overcome that with their offensive talent. It's just not it's not in their wheelhouse. So they brought in 3 wide receivers for tryouts on Monday. Typical stuff, guys that have been around the league that are currently unemployed. And at this time of year, a lot of these tryouts are not really focused on the here and now, but are focused on the later. They also brought in a quarterback, Alex. I'm not sure I know how to pronounce this, but Alex from Minnesota. We'll go with Annexstad. It was at Minnesota and Illinois State. They also brought in 4 offensive linemen, including former Boston College center Alec Lindstrom and Mason McCormick's college teammate, left tackle Garrett Greenfield. So, like most of these guys they're looking at for next season. But one of the players they brought in is Ladatrick Tulu-Griffin, who was an All-American kickoff returner at Mississippi State. He is still, I believe, 4th in NCAA history in kickoff return average. He's a bigger guy. Like, he's not like Calvin Austin size. He's like 5'11". And so a little bit more like a typical kick returner body. And by the way, every time I bring up kick returners, people are like, why don't they use Calvin Austin? Calvin Austin's literally never returned a kick return in his life, unless he did it in high school. It is a very different job being a kickoff returner and being a punt returner, and very, very few guys are good at both of them. Turpin right now is the one that seems to be that. But so I don't know if they're going to bring in Tula Griffin, but I just think it's a clear sign to me that they're looking at this kick return position and saying, hey, something's got to be better than it was this year. And can we identify what the problem is and potential solutions? The ironic thing is that the Steelers brought in Cordarrelle Patterson to be their kick returner, right? I mean, his position, he doesn't even really have a position, but his primary position on offense these days has been running back. But, I mean, look, it was not a coincidence that they signed him the day that the NFL instituted the new kickoff return rule. But he is a running back, mostly by trade, and he has been perfectly fine as a running back. I know lots of people complain about him getting touches or when he gets touches on a per-carry basis. He's been better than Najee Harris this year. Now, that doesn't mean he would be better if he got a whole bunch more, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with giving Cordarrelle Patterson running back touches. It's certainly not hurting the team for him to be in there. He has a yards per carry of 4.3, which is exactly the same as Jaylen Warren and better than Najee Harris's 4.0. He has a success rate of 45.2, which is better than Najee Harris's 43.8, worse than Warren's 50. So, I mean, is he as good as Jaylen Warren? No. Is he better than Najee Harris on a rate percentage? Yes. Like, there's nothing wrong with the fact that that guy has 31 carries for 134 yards this year. And there have been times where, because the Steelers didn't have Warren or whatever, that I thought he was an effective change of pace, where he actually showed some decent bursts as running back. But for whatever reason, it is just not happening as a kick returner right now. And that is his primary job. You can find another running back 3. And it doesn't need to be the kickoff returner, but they've got to figure out something at kickoff returner. They also, of course, need to figure out something with their wide receiver depth. So maybe if the Steelers use a high draft pick on a wide receiver next year, they might look to prioritize someone that can also return kicks and try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone in that regard. That's all I got for today. I was just looking up that story about Griffin, found this stat about Patterson, and was like, wow. I didn't think it'd been good, but I didn't realize that it'd been that bad. Certainly an area where the Steelers will need to improve going into the offseason. That's all I got for right now. Like I said, more coming from the South Side from practice, and then me and Smitty on Afternoon Drive. Like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel so you don't miss a thing. Until next time, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and enjoy.